Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
I'm John.
And this is Comexplaining.
The show where...
Anybody?
Huh? What? Huh? I got distracted.
Introducing the sensational silent one.
Oh, God. Fuck, I didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
I didn't catch that was the cover. I just kept on seeing his weirdly red eyes and being like, what is wrong with him?
Oh, John. That's not the silent one.
Oh, God, that's not the silent one.
No.
No, the guy with... I'm sorry, he's...
That's another random dude.
That random dude needs, like, eye
Why
drops.
would you do that? Why would you choose to do that?
Why would you give him such red eyes?
No, I mean, why would you make the cover like this? Introducing the sensational silent one, but the bad guy on the cover isn't the fucking silent one.
Oh, God. Oh, God, we're gonna find out who did the art on the cover and know who to blame.
I mean, it's right in front of you.
So anyway,
Oh, I looked at the wrong screen. Dang it!
So I need to talk about something because I need to get it off my chest. So there's this other podcast I listen to called Dungeons and Daddies, and it is a BDSM podcast.
Oh, God, I've heard of that one.
It's not a BDSM
A lot of
podcast.
people who got fed up with the Adventure Zone wandered onto that one.
It's really good. But anyway, so I listened to that, and I think like a year or a year and a half ago, I was listening to an episode, and one of the guys, Anthony Birch, was talking about his cat, and how the only way his cat likes to be pet is to be scratched, like, right above her tail, right?
Huh.
And every cat pretty much likes that. So every cat likes to be scratched above their tail, and Anthony Birch, I keep saying his name as if you guys know who he is.
Who's Anthony Birch?
So this guy, he was talking about how his cat only likes to be scratched, like, above her tail. And apparently, I guess, around that time, there was some kind of article or something. I never saw it myself, but these people on this podcast were talking about it. This article, which said that the reason why cats like to be scratched there is because it's an erogenous zone.
God damn it.
And I listened to this, and as I'm listening to it, I'm like, this cannot be true. This can't be true. Like, if we were all making our cats super horny by scratching their butts, there would surely be a sign other than that they enjoy it. They would be getting sexually frustrated.
Not necessarily. We're the weird species who doesn't just go into heat in one season. We're horny all the time. They're not.
Okay, well, listen to what I'm saying.
I'm saying, if it's an erogenous zone, but they're not capable of being horny, then it's just a good feeling.
That's true. Okay. So anyway, I was like, that can't be true. But also, I was afraid to look it up in case it was true. So I just kind of lived with that inside me for like a year.
So, have you been just holding on to this factoid?
Yes.
Until you told us?
And then, so we got a new cat last week. And one day I was sitting here petting her, and I was scratching her butt, and I'm like, I can't live with this anymore. I have to look it up. So I looked it up, and it's not true. They have a bunch of nerves in that area.
Okay.
Tails
But
are
that
very
doesn't
nerves.
necessarily mean it's a sex thing. Okay? It just feels good.
It just feels good.
In fact, the thing that I read said that because they have a lot of nerve endings, if you do it too hard, it can hurt them. So, you know, that's why cats like that. It's not a sex thing.
Oh, thank God, that's an answer to a question that I was wondering.
A question I never asked.
A question on another podcast unrelated to our podcast that has way more listeners than our podcast.
What's the Dave Strider quote?
Which fucking one?
You probably.
I know which one you mean.
You know
but
what fucking one I mean.
I know what one you mean, but I do not remember it word for word.
I'm so sorry for you. You've lost the old knowledge.
Oh, shut up.
I don't live that life anymore, John. I would apologize to the listeners for talking about my cats 3 weeks in a row, except, like all cat owners, I'm not sorry at all, and it will happen again.
Well, I don't know why you haven't put a picture of Chai up on the podcast.
You
Twitter
monster.
I don't know.
The fact that you haven't shared a picture.
I don't really have that many good pictures of her yet.
The fact that you haven't shared pictures makes you a monster.
Okay.
True.
What do you guys think about that?
That sure was a fact.
It was a fact that wasn't a fact.
Oh
Yeah.
God! I'm shocked that a
You've learned
not
zero nothing
technic-
and no information.
I'm shocked that a not technically BDSM podcast was wrong.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Let's
about
get-
the silent one
Let's get on topic.
and how he's not the guy on the big guy on the cover
Well, yeah.
with the red eyes who
Right.
needs eye drops.
Yeah. So let's get on topic and let's go ahead and talk about Thor number 184.
Let's not do that,
Why?
because we haven't talked about what happened last time on
Oh,
Thor.
shit, you're right. What happened last time?
Nope. I don't know.
Great, thanks.
We finished up
Yeah.
Thor and Loki face.
Yeah,
Off.
Face off, yeah.
Yeah, Mephisto, so I missed a bunch of stuff, but Thor managed to
You Mephisto?
Yeah,
Mephisto.
he managed to uncumsicle himself after watching Volstagg get disappeared.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm not Loki, I'm Thor.
Now, Mephisto already knew that.
Alright, well then he made his soul grow 3 times sizes that day,
Yeah,
and Mephisto was like, gross, get gone.
yeah.
Then Loki took over the UN.
Uh-huh.
It was not a very effective strategy because I don't think Loki understands what the UN is.
I don't think Stan understands what the UN is
I don't
because
think
he's
at
done this
all.
with the UN before.
That's fair. I don't
Maybe
think.
Stan is just relying on the fact that no one knows what they
Oh no! Our ambassadors to the UN have been captured. What will we do? Nothing. Okay.
And then Thor showed up, and something happened, and Loki forgot that he couldn't do magic.
Mhm.
Because when you swap faces,
Yeah, you swap
you
powers.
lose the ability to you swap powers, and that includes the ability to do magic, which is a power, not a skill.
And then
Right.
something happened, and they swapped faces, bodies, powers again.
They unfaced off.
Yeah, they unfaced off. And
Face-offed?
Well, the way they did that is that Thor separated Loki from the hammer.
Right.
Thor turned back into Donald Blake.
And
Right.
then it unface off to them.
Yeah. Somehow.
Faced off.
Face off.
face off.
Face-offed. Because, that's how face-off work. You do a surgery, you swap faces, John Travolta, Nick Cage swap faces, and they swap powers. Because both of them have powers.
John Travolta turns into his final form, which is that guy from Battlefield Earth.
Yes, that's exactly what happens. John
And
Travolta.
then all of a sudden, their faces are back.
John Travolta with Nick Cage energy becomes that,
Yeah.
and then they swap faces again.
Yep, that's exactly what happened in Thor number 181.
Yes,
And then I don't remember
there were others.
anything else. That was
Um,
just the one? I thought
That was the
2.
first one.
Oh my
Shit,
god!
okay, there are.
That was exceedingly eventful.
Then the next 2 issues,
Things happened.
crickets.
Oh, you got
Oh.
give me a
That was the interesting one.
He fought Dr. Doom.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Doctor Doom.
Donald Blake was trying to do an unsanctioned political killing.
Yeah, so this girl, there was this French girl, she and her dad got kidnapped so he could work on missile silos, which
Because
Latveria.
apparently
In
Latveria
Latveria.
needs help digging holes.
And then at some point, she got out, Cassette got out, and started protesting in front of the Latverian embassy, having a normal
New York.
one. Yeah,
Mhm.
all by herself. Then a mob started shit,
Why is the Latvian embassy in New York and not DC?
I don't know.
and then Don came in and rescued her and took her to his office.
Where he decided to do a political assassination.
And she told him what happened, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna lure Dr. Doom to New York by claiming I have special plastic surgery that can fix any deformity.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a super cool thing to do.
Right,
And
in
I'm
the
going to
newspaper.
in the newspaper, yes, and that it did actually work, which means You can only imagine the thousands, if not millions, of people who believe that this was a real new treatment for their own.
Right, it's running in the New
problems.
York Times.
Yeah.
But, so then Dr. Doom did come, but instead of doing what Don wanted him to do, he instead kidnapped him to Latveria.
Which, you know, if he's going to do an assassination, it's better in Latveria.
And then he saw Dr. Doom's face and he was like, "Oh my god, holy shit, what the fuck is that?"
Yeah, he was
super cool reaction.
the worst doctor ever. Good
Yeah.
job.
He got locked in the dungeon, but he managed to fucking get his staff, his cane,
With his mighty, mighty feet
with
power.
his feet, and he turned into Thor, and then he ran into the girl's dad, only he was a shitbag who just wanted money, and then
Yeah,
he died.
Uh-huh.
And then Thor left.
And Thor destroyed the missiles.
The missiles
Yeah, Thor
did
did
shoot
destroy
him,
the
though.
missiles.
Yes.
That happened while he was fighting Doctor Doom, which also happened.
And then he told Dr. Doom that he was boring and left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I forgot it. Because, you know, you're boring, I'm out, is kind of a nothing burger of an ending.
So, that's essentially what happened.
Oh.
Although, in the middle of that...
At the very end, he did come back to the girl, this
Yes.
time as Thor, telling her, your dad is dead.
Yeah, but he softened the blow a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, but
But
it is
real
But it
nice.
is weird that she got Donald Blake's help, but Thor is the one who
I mean, lots of people know that Don has connections to Thor.
Yeah.
yeah, I know that, but it's still weird that he's so casual about it.
So, there was something in the middle of that where Thor got summoned to Asgard, where Odin was talking about something called the World Beyond.
I'm on the phone.
I don't
As
remember
Thor
that.
basically told Odin.
Yeah, and Thor was like, I got some shit to do. So he went back to Earth and did his shit.
Yeah, the phone being a political attempted political assassination.
Yeah, you know.
So sometimes you just have to kill a sovereign ruler of a sovereign state.
And that's where we are now. So, now we're going to read Thor number 184 from November of 1970. Written by Stan Lee, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Joe Sinnott, and lettered by Artie Simek.
John Buscema, you did the cover?
Oh yeah.
John Buscema, no! Why would you do this to not the silent one?
Having finished his outstanding business, Thor returns to the Golden City, ready to attend to the Allfather's urgent summons. As he walks through the streets, he sees the warriors of Asgard gathering with their eyes pointed skyward in what can only be described as terror. He pauses to ask one of them what is going on, but the man simply says that he is too late and can speak nothing more coherent than that.
Hey Thor, could you consider looking up where they're looking?
Perplexed, the god of thunder proceeds to the throne room, where he finds his father bowing his head in despair. Odin beckons him over and begins to speak candidly about the situation. So there's something coming.
This is a new hat, right?
Yes.
Yes!
Well, that's the free space. No,
No,
it's not
it
the free
isn't.
space anymore.
It's not the free space anymore.
Oh, shit. There's something coming. Something that comes from the world beyond and grows closer by the moment. Something that Odin fears even he won't be able to stop. Thor recognizes the world beyond, probably from when we were talking about it 2 issues ago, but he has no idea what it actually is. The Allfather calls for his vizier to bring forth the coals of the cosmos, which is a big magic fire that makes pictures, so yet another form of magic TV.
That's a pretty cool one, though. I like
It
It
that.
is
is a
pretty
cool
cool.
one,
It's
but
better
how-
than the plasma screens.
But how many of these do you need, Odin?
So many. At his king's command, the vizier conjures forth a vision, stoking the flame to an inferno which belches inky smoke dotted with stars. The smoke quickly overtakes the room, and they find themselves standing in the void of space, overlooking a patch of black with no stars or planets, completely devoid of life.
Wait, was that a Togue-like wizard that isn't Togue?
No.
It's the vizier.
I can never remember what Togue looks like is the problem.
He has the cone hat that's very sensitive and good design.
Yeah.
I don't think we're ever going to see that guy again, to be honest.
But we're going to see wizards who look
We've
like
seen
him.
several guys who've looked like him since.
Yeah, but it does stop at some point.
Okay.
Oh, nuts.
Apparently, this is some kind of entity coming from the world beyond the edge of the universe, which is radiating outward and devouring everything that it comes in contact with. So, basically like the Nothing from the Neverending Story.
Oh, that's fun.
Thor is horrified as he realizes that should such a force be left unchecked, it will spell the end of everything, even Asgard itself. He demands to know what he must do, who he must fight to avert this catastrophe.
Yeah, I don't think this is one you can punch.
Odin has no answers for him, however. He explains that while Thor was faffing about on Earth, he sent the Warriors 3 to investigate, and they never came back.
Oh!
This only serves to enrage the Thunder God, as he declares that surely there can be none other than Galactus behind this grievous injustice.
God damn it!
Oh my god.
Get off of Galactus,
I should
guys!
add Odin's fucking obsession with Galactus.
This time it's Thor obsessing over
Ah.
Galactus. Odin rebuffs him pretty much instantly, because he obviously thought of that,
Because of his obsession with Galactus.
Yeah. which is how he knows that Gal is currently enjoying a food coma on a meteor somewhere else.
Holy shit.
He also
Mm.
brings up Mangog, which I wasn't aware was even a part of this conversation.
No, he's a part of this conversation. Welcome back, Mangog!
Loki is written off as well, since they're currently in exile for recent crimes. So that's all the usual suspects down, which leaves, what?
Everything else.
Odin is stumped, which is enough to perturb Thor. Our hero then turns his thoughts to Earth, the planet which he has vowed to defend. Though mankind has its faults, they also have a goodness which must be preserved. He asks his father to send him forth to deal with this threat, but Odin has more to talk about.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. He leads Thor to the chamber of the Odin sword, where the self-same blade lies loose in its scabbard.
Wait, this is the sword that if unsheathed, Ragnarok happens, right?
Yeah.
Yes, nailed it. Every day he pushes it back in, only for it to be the same way by the next morning.
Does that mean Ragnarok is coming?
Potentially.
Because
Yeah, I think it counts.
Because I got an oh no, Ragnarok is coming.
I think it counts. What's more, he is haunted by the word infinity, repeating in his mind. Infinitely so, one might say.
Good job.
Yeah, me whenever Marvel announces a new fucking event.
The favorite son vows that he will not rest until he solves this situation, after which he suddenly notices a stranger skulking about the shadows. Odin says this guy just showed up here and stands in the same spot constantly, not saying anything, and therefore he is called the Silent One.
Wait, so a guy just showed up
Yeah.
and, okay, so yes, universe is in danger, but there's also a guy here.
It's fine.
It's fine, we don't care,
And there's a guy at the door.
there's
He
a
also-
guy.
He also says that he thinks the Silent One is related to whatever is going on, which is why he let him continue to stand there, because he's waiting for him to speak. Thor declares that they will wait no longer, and rushes toward the foreboding figure with his hammer held high. He is repelled by some unseen force, falling back to the floor. He then decides to ignore Odin telling him to calm down, and instead hurl Mjolnir at the Silent One, only for it to pass straight through the figure. Finally, he seems to accept that there's nothing he can do about this intruder, just before Odin declares that Thor is going to stay here while he goes and deals with the world beyond.
Wait, hold on. Odin also tried to do this? You think you can triumph where Odin hath failed?
Yeah.
So, what you're saying is that there was a moment where Odin was also like, I'm gonna kill this guy.
Oh, yeah.
It's also like, how dare you? If
He's a
anyone
home
gets to
invader.
kill him, I get to kill him.
Thor is not thrilled, but he doesn't really get a say in the matter. The Allfather creates a portal, and the
So-
Silent One... What?
Thor says the nay.
Oh, boy, Thor says the
Oh,
nay.
He does say the nay. Hell yeah.
The Allfather creates a portal, and the Silent One follows him through it. Or, at least, I thought it was a portal, but at the bottom of the page it turns into a ball and flies away, so I guess it's that.
What? What?
The God of Thunder watches helplessly, fearing for his father's safety, while also feeling disappointed that he was left behind. He's a man of action, after all, who would much prefer to deal with the dangerous, unknown Universe Eater than the politics that he is now bound for, being that he's the heir apparent and must now sit in for dear old dad.
Oh no.
That's true. Loki's not here to take the throne.
Speaking of which, somewhere far away, Loki broods in exile. They've made a rock chair to recline on, or maybe it's a conveniently placed natural formation.
Is that like a space hole?
Yeah. You know how we all have space holes.
Yes, we all have space holes we put our rock chairs in front of, so we look badass when
Yeah.
we sit in our rock chairs.
At this exact moment, they are conveniently thinking about how they have to stay in exile so long as Odin remains in Asgard.
Speaking
But
of...
they could escape if he went somewhere else.
Speaking of...
Coincidentally, they look out their space door and happen to see the comet streaking across the sky and begin to scream in anger? Happiness? I'm unclear.
I don't know, this feels like a Deus Ex Odin to me.
No, disagree.
No.
He
He
Extremely
didn't save
disagree.
the day.
Yes, but he did just magically cause this part of the plot to happen by
That doesn't
leaving.
count.
No, that's not a Deus Ex,
Fine.
no. They then shoot off into space, landing in the realm of the storm giants.
Oh no.
One of whom immediately grabs them in his gigantic fist, while his buddy urges him to slay the godling. Luckily for the trickster, they can talk fast, and they manage to get the giants on their side and rile them up to go attack Asgard pretty quickly.
In less than a single page.
Oh yes. Doesn't take much.
Apparently they're really ready to start just killing Asgard.
Well, yeah. Asgard and giants have been at war for fucking ever.
Fair.
Back in Asgard proper, Thor is working on lifting the mood and getting everybody out of their funk, when suddenly a scout enters with grave news. The runner tells his liege that Loki is approaching with an army of giants and trolls, and that they have somehow taken Balder hostage,
Good. Okay.
right before passing out.
The one guy who cannot die.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's why you take him hostage.
Why do you take him hostage? It doesn't do
You can
much.
still
Because
torture
you
him.
can't kill any of them.
Can you torture
Yeah. Well, no.
him? That's what I thought. Like, you can't
No,
even
he's
hurt him.
invulnerable.
He's invulnerable. You can't even torture
Right,
him.
no, they just kill everybody else, and since they can't kill Balder, they just take him along.
You can just make his existence mildly uncomfortable.
Thor is pretty pissed and immediately flies out to meet Loki, demanding to see his friend. Loki reveals Balder with his arms tied to a pole behind his back, and also reveals that they captured him while he was sleeping, which I don't understand. I mean, the army just got here, so unless Balder was sleeping, like, in a field or something,
Could have been.
I don't understand how this happened.
Also, isn't he traveling with fucking giants? You think that would
Right.
Balder is
cause a little bit of a rumble?
Balder is a really deep sleeper, guys, and he just sleeps
Because
forever.
because he's invulnerable, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if the world ends. He's fine.
Loki starts to negotiate his release, but Thor has no patience for this bullshit and immediately starts swinging.
I'm shocked.
He's intercepted by a giant, which is a bold move against the guy who is known for killing giants.
Mhm.
Well, that guy is downed with one hammer throw, and upon seeing that, the trolls start to dogpile the Thunder God, attempting to overwhelm him before his hammer returns. He's not so easily defeated,
Woohoo!
and knocks them all away as soon as Mjolnir flies back to his hand. Climbing atop the bodies of the fallen, Thor calls out to Balder, who urges him to abandon this unfair fight. Thor politely refuses, and continues to pummel everything in sight. I think he's just got a lot of frustration to work through right now,
Yeah.
I mean,
but this plan is also not going great for the Lokester.
Because it's gone so well every other
Every
time
other
he's
time.
done
yes,
this.
Loki. Loki, you're not really batting a scoreable number yet. You're zero. You're batting a zero.
You're
Oh,
0
yeah.
for like 20.
Yeah.
As he fights on, another warrior joins from out of the blue. It's Sif,
Hey!
wearing a new fit.
Ooh.
She looks
Oh.
more like a Roman gladiator than a Viking, but
she
I'm
does,
kind
but
of into
she's
it.
hot.
I'm kind of into it. Of course, the trolls immediately try to grab her and hold her hostage, which is exhausting, but
Mhm.
Thor bursts forth to grab her and fly high into the air.
We just barely avoid Sif gets captured.
Oh yes. He is very peeved about this whole situation. He finds it stupid to be fighting over petty bullshit when the entire universe could be wiped out at any moment.
I mean,
You
That's-
did come out here.
Oh, you did.
that's fair.
I mean, they would have eventually come to him,
Right,
but
exactly.
still.
It would have been more drawn out if he hadn't. He deposits his lady atop the wall before returning for Balder, striking the ground and causing a huge earthquake that topples the whole army. Thor is not fucking around right now. He grabs Balder and returns to the wall, raging that Loki has already escaped.
As
Sif,
Loki does.
as Loki does. Sif tries to calm him down, and the two share a passionate kiss,
Oh.
which is interrupted by the ghostly image of Odin carrying a dire portent. It seems this is a projection of Odin as he is right now, come to warn his son even as he attempts to fight off some unseen foe. He doesn't get out much information before vanishing, leaving Thor even more wound up than he already was.
Oh, good.
His mind has been made up. For the sake of the universe, and for his father, he must go to the world beyond.
Who the fuck is in charge then?
I
Baldur?
don't know.
Baldur.
Baldur.
Is Baldur free?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Baldur.
See? Baldur's free.
All right.
Yeah.
They saved Baldur.
Yeah,
He's
they
good.
saved
They
Baldur.
did. Oh god, he picked him up by the briefs, didn't he? No, he picked
by,
him up by the pole.
stick that he'd been held captive with.
So what did you guys think of that issue?
I didn't actually mind it. I mean, I like the more stretched out pacing. It feels like there's a little more room for everything. Thor was a little over emotional in places, but he does get that way, so.
Yeah.
I would dare to say that Stan is actually evolving in his old age.
I'm not gonna call it that until until
That's
it's proven.
Fair.
What would you rate it?
3.
The thing is, this was kind of... I don't
That's
know.
a comic.
Yeah, it's just a comic.
3
I mean,
stars.
it's the beginning of a story.
Yeah,
So,
so we'll see how good the story is. Yeah, I'll go with 3 for now.
for now. Okay.
For now.
So we're gonna go ahead and move on to Thor number 185 from December of 1970, written by Stan Lee, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Sam Granger, and lettered by Sam Rosen.
See worlds without end in the grip of infinity. See the power of the Silent One. See the God of Thunder, alone, unarmed, trapped upon the world beyond.
These, all of these subtitles do kind of feel like an old creature feature movie.
That's why I'm putting that accent on it.
I
It's
know.
the kind of
That's
thing you
old
perfect.
radio dramas.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
tune in next time on The
I-
Lone Ranger.
That might have been what they were going for. If you stop
Possibly.
and think about how long Stan had been in the game.
We open on Thor dramatically taking off for the world beyond, while also recapping what happened in the last issue for like 3 whole pages.
Oh, God.
Good lord.
Why do we need this?
Fair, because it did feel like a million things happened, even though it amounted to really nothing at all. He arrives at a strange chasm, obscured by a whirling miasma, touching down on a pathway of sorts. From out of the mist emerges a guardian, some kind of huge guy with 4 arms, who says that you can't enter the world beyond without an invitation from the Master, whoever that is. Since Thor did not receive an invitation as such, he now has to be killed, which is very sad.
Wow, that's not gonna work, my guy.
The Guardian attacks with his club, but Thor dodges and gives him a good whack in return.
He grabs his cape. That's fighting dirty.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Well, he's got 4 hands, so. Though he's surprised by the Thunder God's strength, the Guardian has some tricks up his sleeve. From out of his mace comes something that at first looks like a blowtorch, but then turns into a smoky tendril that wraps around Thor, sapping his strength.
I just realized I think I can cross off Odin fixates on Galactus.
He did
Yeah.
instantly
He
know.
did mention it.
He did instantly,
Well,
like...
he knew exactly where Galactus was.
He
Yeah.
did. And the only way you do that is if you're fixating.
Yeah,
Odin,
that's true.
Odin, move on.
The two continue to fight, eventually moving into a body of water that was
Oh.
there the whole time, I guess.
It was hidden by the
I was
miasma.
under the fog.
In the midst of battle, Thor remembers the words that his father spoke to him, and he asks the ultimate question: what is the name of the Guardian's master, and could it be Infinity?
Infinity, like, isn't that one of the cosmic beings in Marvel? Isn't Infinity?
Instantly, the landscape changes. The ground rumbles, and the sky is set ablaze as a booming voice asks, "Who mouthed my name?"
So you're like Old Testament God, huh?
I might be mixing up with Eternity.
Yeah, I think so. Similar names. The Guardian begs for mercy, but he has failed in his duty, and so Infinity puts him to sleep until next he is required.
Sure.
Thor calls to the amorphous being, demanding to know where his father is, but Infinity brushes him off before squeezing a planet to death.
Hey, so that guy fell face forward in the water to sleep?
He's fine.
I don't think he's
Don't
alive.
worry about it. Yeah, he's like a homunculus or something. It's fine.
Also, this is very Galactus of Infinity.
It is extremely Galactus-like. Yeah.
Did in fact, this actually looks more like the Galactus from the Fantastic Four
Oh,
movie.
God.
That looks really cool, though.
It is
It does
kinda
kind of look
cool.
cool. I will give you that. But we've done this. We've done the whole planet destroying thing.
Well, I mean, there's always a new blockbuster for that. We want to watch the world end over and over. It's fun.
Sure.
Honestly, I think this is... I mean, we're gonna see over the next couple issues. This is scarier than Galactus. It's a lot more
You know,
Mysterious,
I was-
mysterious
unknown.
and
I
existential
was
and
actually going to say
eldritch in a
the
way.
way this works is actually more interesting than Galactus was at this time.
Uh-huh.
Because this is legitimately cooler than Galactus's current Om Nom Nom deal.
Reminds me of a manga I was hearing about but haven't read, so I don't really want to talk about it. But it was a Junji Ito thing, which does fit with that fucking vibe.
Oh yeah. The vague inky hand pulls back out of sight, and Thor is left alone once more in the strange landscape covered in mist. He walks a short distance only to encounter someone else. The Silent One.
Oh, good!
He demands answers from this stoic figure, commanding him to disclose what happened to Odin.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question.
The Silent One, shockingly, does not answer.
No, he starts talking a lot and never shuts up.
Have you considered sign language?
Thor lashes out in frustration, shattering the stone that they both stand upon and sending himself tumbling downward. However, when he looks, he sees the Silent One standing in the exact same spot, suspended in a mystical force.
I'm shocked.
Has he never considered that the Silent One can't speak?
Right? Finally, the Silent One gives him some guidance, pointing to another planet in the distance. He watches in horror as the incomprehensibly massive hand slowly reaches toward it. This time he understands more clearly what is happening. The world isn't destroyed, but simply engulfed, becoming one with the blackness, and everyone who lives on it becomes a mindless slave to serve infinity.
Okay, yes, cooler than Galactus. Good job. That's, I mean,
Yeah, that's way cooler.
It's not that hard to be cooler than Galactus. I will give you that one. But the fact that Stan appears to have thought of something cooler than Galactus,
I'm super into it. It's
I'm
like
act-
Oblivion.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, because
Like the Nothing from the Never-Ending Story, like I said earlier.
I've never watched it.
But I'm pretty sure that's newer than this,
It is.
which means that the Nothing.
I'm just comparing it, I'm not saying
I
it's...
know, but that actually makes it more cool.
I don't know about that. I think it's equally cool. The Silent One points yet again, this time into the mist, which swirls away to reveal the Warriors 3, who Odin sent to investigate while Thor was fighting Dr. Doom.
Ah.
Mindlessly, they draw their weapons and move to attack.
Damn it, they're not broing it up.
Nope. The Thunder God doesn't want to hurt his friends, especially when they're being mind-controlled. Holding Mjolnir aloft, he summons a storm to slow their advance, but they continue unabated.
You know, the fact that it can just do this to gods?
Yeah,
Oh boy.
pretty crazy.
No wonder Ragnarok is coming.
He creates a wind to blow them back, but they're staggered for only a moment before once again moving mindlessly toward him. Finally, Thor creates a wind tunnel that scoops his comrades up and carries them all the way back to Asgard,
I don't know if that's going to help.
depositing them on the Bifrost.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Indeed. They are taken in and examined by Sif and the Vizier, but neither of them can make heads or tails of their condition. Yet there is something more troubling still, says the Vizier, as he leads Sif to the Odin sword chamber, where the darn sword is once again trying to unsheath itself.
Can Odin not just park it? No, he's not here.
He's
Never
not here.
mind. Never mind. That's fine.
And yes, Sif is being emotional, but I think this one's not because she's a
Reasonable.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Not yet.
actually, give it time.
The two Asgardians ponder the fate of Odin, lost in the world beyond. And speaking of whom, we get to check in on him. He's standing in the midst of the encroaching darkness, using all his power to push it back. He calls out a challenge to Infinity, but receives no answer. The Silent One watches from nearby, as Odin is mostly just a melodramatic bitch. He's honestly not doing much, just kind of monologuing.
Well, he doesn't have anyone to talk to,
Exactly.
and I don't think he knows how to deal with that.
The approaching danger has not gone unnoticed on Earth,
Really?
it seems. As
Oh,
a
I bet
team,
not.
a team of astrophysicists assess the situation. It seems pretty grim. Outside, there's a storm raging, likening back to the biblical flood that washed clean the world.
You know, I mentioned Old Testament God, and now
Yep. Feeling a little bit
Stan,
appropriate.
You know, Stan, I'm not sure if that's kind of cool, but you're also getting a little referential.
Everything is referential.
I know, but
Thor stands alone on the twisted landscape, hoping that his friends arrived safely at home, but realizing he now has a bigger problem on his hands. As the seconds tick away until he reverts to his mortal form, which has no hope of surviving in this inhospitable land, he reaches his hand to the heavens, desperately hoping for the hammer to return and save him. But it doesn't.
Oh no, I'm stuck as Dawn.
The fateful 60 seconds pass, and frail Donald Blake is thrust into existence on the edge of the world beyond. In the distance, something falls to the ground with a boom. But as Don approaches it, he comes upon the Guardian, once again animated to fulfill his duty by Infinity.
Ew.
Because he's a different guy.
Exactly. Dr. Blake watches helplessly, knowing that he can't leave if he wants to have any hope of retrieving his hammer, but also knowing that he can't stay.
Can he hide behind that rock?
I suppose he could.
Kind of doubt it.
He could try. So that's the issue. What did you guys think of that one?
I was gonna say, wow, that moved really quick, but we did waste 3 fucking pages.
On the recap, yeah.
Wait, we wasted 4 fucking pages, didn't we? Because Thor was sitting there like, hold, and then he went and recapped for 3 fucking pages.
Yeah.
So that means we only have to fill out like 16.
I am a little worried that Stan has decided that Thor is going to fight God, like from the Bible, and he's just renamed him Infinity and given him a minion. I don't know. I don't know. Let's we're gonna stick with the
Banana
3, but the ending of this one may just suck.
Right? Am I right, guys?
Do not minion meme at us.
Well, you said me.
What did I say?
So what did you rate this?
I'm gonna give this a 3, but if this turns out to be I don't know.
We'll see.
It kind of depends on how this ends.
Tentatively a 3, sure.
Yeah.
And now we will move on to Thor number 186.
This was the last series Stan wrote for, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think the last one he was a regular on.
The last one he was a regular on.
I love when they let the cover interact with the elements of the cover, like Thor's cape overlapped with the Marvel tag on the side.
So this issue came out in January of 1971. It was written by Stan Lee, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Joe Sinnott, and lettered by Artie Simek. We open on more Odin theatrics as he continues to blast Infinity back while also monologuing about his beautiful baby boy.
At least he has a rock.
Even as he does so, he receives a premonition about the predicament that said baby boy now finds himself in.
Well, not much he can do about it.
Namely, having transformed back into Donald Blake and now facing the Guardian without his hammer.
Good luck.
He shoots a bolt of force at the Guardian, staggering him for the few seconds it takes for Mjolnir to complete its journey back to its master. I thought it already landed in the last issue, but I guess not.
No, it didn't. I'm gonna cross off Odin in the sky with diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that counts. After a brief fight, Thor manages to KO the Guardian and return to the task at hand.
Wow, that was fucking anticlimactic.
Wow. They really cliffhanged us.
Or so you think.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
Because another bolt of energy lances down, this time reviving the Guardian.
God damn it.
Thor knocks him out again, but again he is revived, and will continue to be so.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So long as Infinity has a use for him. The Guardian hefts a huge boulder, but our strong boy crushes it before it leaves his hands, blasting him back in the process. He then throws a Mjolnir, which spins around the Guardian, encasing him in a sphere of force.
Which is not how the hammer has ever worked.
It's fine.
I mean, maybe it's just that the hammer is spinning really fast and it knocks it aside.
Except he then pulls it back to himself.
Well, yeah. But, like, maybe I didn't understand why he thought that if he did that once, Infinity wasn't just gonna revive him again.
I don't know. Well, that's why he's putting him in a sphere of force, so that he doesn't have to deal with him anymore.
Does it hold it forever? Because I thought it was just doing it while he was there.
Again, Calvin Ball, welcome back. I've missed you.
It doesn't matter. The Guardian is gone now.
Okay.
Until the Guardian comes back, if he does.
With that done, we can progress the story. So, Thor's next course of action is to get a clearer view of things, which he does by using his command of the weather to dispel the clinging fog. With the skies clear, he can see the battlefield where Odin pushes desperately against the darkness.
Really not clear why he didn't do that before.
I don't know. Didn't have the time, I guess. The Odinson flies straight towards the fracas, stopping only when he sees the Silent One seeming to bar his path.
Who's actually seeming to respond to him more.
Oh yeah. He begins to threaten the Silent One yet again, but Odin looms out to order him against it.
Why?
Thor questions his father's decision, which is bold considering how Odin tends to react to that sort of thing. This time is no different either, but Thor urges him to reconsider, as even now the Hand of Infinity reaches toward another planet, poised to consume it.
I mean, this is gonna keep on happening, guys.
Oh yeah.
Odin, you're not really stopping this.
The golden-haired hero grows concerned, and then angry. He knows that there is more going on than he can understand, but there is a clear threat, which his father refuses to let him do anything about. He's incredibly frustrated that there seems to be nothing he can do, and seemingly in response to this, the Silent One once again points off to the distance.
Has this actually worked out for him? Has it actually worked out for anyone to follow what the Silent One points at?
I don't know. With no other course of action, Thor decides to follow the Silent One down a dark and winding path.
I will give you that. He doesn't have much else he can do.
Back in that observatory we were in before, the scientists are still trying to make heads or tails of the coming apocalypse. One of them insists that despite how it looks, what they're seeing has actually long since happened, because that's how space works.
Yes.
Correct.
While the other says that it's actually happening right now because reasons.
Hey, guy.
Because I say so.
You're wrong.
Across the globe, natural disasters strike. The streets of New York begin to flood, while other places see cataclysmic earthquakes, and those are the only ones that are mentioned.
The Fantastic Four do not pick up their phone.
They do not.
Well, I mean, what would the Fantastic Four do about this?
Nothing. They're the Fantastic Four. They're probably not even on Earth.
Meanwhile, in Asgard, Sif and the Vizier place the Warriors 3 in a cell until their condition can be cured. They then return to the Odin Sword, where the Vizier uses a ruler to measure how much of it is unsheathed.
Okay.
Not sure how that helps, really, but Odin was just kind of pushing it back in, so maybe you guys could give that a try.
Right?
A moment later, the door is battered down by the Warriors 3, still entranced. Before this, they were just kind of mindless, and I'm pretty unclear on what changed. Maybe they just got new orders beamed in.
I guess?
Sif's outfit changed slightly. Color, inverted.
Well, and also it has a skirt now, and it was like kind of a romper before.
It was. Or something pants-ish.
Yeah, a little shorts-ish. Anyway, Fandral commands Sif to step aside so that they can fully draw the sword. She says, "No, I don't think I will let you do that, actually," and starts fighting him.
That's reasonable.
While Sif is occupied, Hogun starts slamming on the hilt of the sword with his mace, trying to push it out of the scabbard. Suddenly, another combatant hurls their normal-sized sword to stop him. And Balder the Brave enters the fray. Volstagg comes at him with an axe, but Balder sweeps the leg and knocks him out, just as Hogun comes back with his mace.
Just by knocking him down?
I'm
Yeah.
a little confused.
Why?
Do they need to break the sword out to end the world? I thought the
Yeah, if you
universe...
draw it out.
No, I just
No,
thought that was...
it's one of many things that can...
Well, no, so the Odin Sword, the deal is, when Ragnarok comes, the Odin Sword will be drawn. So it'll draw itself if the world is ending, but also if you draw it out manually,
Yeah.
it will end the world.
Okay, so they're just trying to end it by other means.
Right, manually.
I was under the impression that Infinity was doing a decent job ending the universe without doing this.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if Odin and Thor can't stop them,
I don't know. Just insurance, I guess.
I guess.
In the midst of all this, everyone kind of forgot about the Vizier.
As you do.
At least until he starts banging an alarm to summon the palace guards.
Because they're going to do such a good job against the Warriors 3.
Well, the Warriors 3 fight as men possessed, but they are overwhelmed by sheer numbers.
Okay.
And taken back to their cell as Sif weeps because she is a woman.
How did they get out?
They just did.
Sif is emotional because she's a woman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
At that moment, Heimdall feels the rainbow bridge beneath his feet begin to tremble, and as he looks on, he sees the city itself shuddering. I mean, in this panel, it's kind of just breaking apart, but I think that's just bad art direction.
Yeah.
Thor follows the Silent One across the treacherous path and through the roiling mists, having no idea where he's headed until it's too late, and he stands before Hela, the dreaded goddess of death.
That's the Silent One's boss?
Hela reveals that the Silent One is a creation of hers, meant to serve as her eyes and ears. She declares that though he has eluded her icy touch in the past, now Thor is part of something larger, and he won't escape this time.
Huh.
Okay, but he's still alive now, so, like, why? Why not just wait till he dies, because he's gonna, right?
I don't know.
Well,
Wait,
if
wait.
I'm gonna get eaten by the world, I'm gonna make sure
Hold
I take
on.
you with me.
Hold on. Hela didn't have to have this encounter at all.
Yeah, she could have just waited.
Yeah. Yeah, she
That's
could
what
have.
I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
This was all. What the. Oh, God. She has to be.
We're not gonna
a
get a-
villain.
We're on page 17. We're not going to get any
Oh,
answers today.
No.
Oh, no.
He denies her, refusing to give in so long as danger threatens his home and his father. In response, Hela blasts him with her own mystical energy, which instantly begins to drain the life from his body, withering him to brittle bone and papery skin.
Huh.
He struggles to grasp Mjolnir, refusing to give in despite the weakness and pain racking his very being. But Hela knows that he has nothing left to give, and takes her leave.
It strikes me that given the amount of time we have left, this may be Stan's grand finale, this story.
Oh.
I don't know, that would be a very long story, because we have 6 issues left.
Maybe not. I thought we had
it'd
less
be-
than that.
it'd-
I didn't get a count last episode,
I'll
you
get
know?
there,
It
God.
would be very nice if Stan could tell a story that long.
Let me wrap up this. Jeez. Though his mistress has departed, the Silent One remains. As he looks upon the shriveled husk of the Thunder God, he sheds a single tear before reaching out his hand, and a shock runs through them both as the life drains from the Silent One and into Thor, returning him to his youthful strength. The Silent One lays on the floor, an empty shell, as Thor takes off to find Odin once more.
I
Huh.
have so many fucking questions.
That is-
So, like, he's a creation of Hela's, but he's not, like, immediately answerable to Hela because he just kind of does this of his own volition.
Yeah.
I assumed he was going to turn into Don Blake and be fine because, this was a thing done to Thor. And then maybe he can turn back into Thor, and then he's fine as Thor because, again, resets.
Deus Ex Mjolnir.
Yeah, that's how that thing's work. But no, we had to kill the Silent One instead.
No, yeah. So the Silent One really wasn't that much of a big deal, to be honest.
No.
We put him on the... we put him on the cover, sort of.
Much ado about nothing.
Yeah, guys, this story is, losing its, fun.
So it's really unclear still what exactly Infinity is. Like, we see this big giant hand pulling in planets, but I guess that's just something that's being projected by him, and he's actually, like, a dude.
But-
Because Odin says that he's going to finally see Infinity after all this time fighting him.
So wait, the Silent One had nothing to do with Infinity.
No,
and was
nothing.
just Hela's minion.
Yeah.
And because Hela felt like causing a little chaos.
Yeah, I have no idea why Hela was a part of this
That
conversation.
God damn it! That really confused me, and now I know it
The
was
same
just.
reason the fucking Odin sword is part of this conversation. Like, the fucking Infinity wasn't doing fine at this on his
Infinity
own.
is the coolest thing here. You don't need the other things. You
So-
just focus on the one thing.
So I guess Infinity is like a dude core with this black energy kind of in a radius around him.
Aw.
Anyway, Odin sees Infinity and recognizes him. Then Thor arrives to find that Odin himself has been mind-wiped and is now being controlled by Infinity, so that's a problem.
Yeah, that's bad.
Next, Thor versus Odin.
But I will say one thing. When it comes to, actual things that mattered, oh no, Stan, you're doing it again. You're putting in a lot of fluff that doesn't actually matter.
So the thing that gets me about this story is that in the first issue, he established a lot of things that felt like they were gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the next 2 issues that we read, he kind of didn't deliver on any of those promises. Like, it's like
Yeah.
he set up all of these ideas at the beginning, but then wasn't quite sure
He wasn't
where they
confident.
were actually going.
He wasn't confident in a lot of them,
Yeah.
and it's not like the Silent One had to work for Hela.
Mhm.
He just threw a bunch of balls in the air to hope that he could manage to juggle a couple of them.
Oh,
Right.
God, he's not even sure if he's got good ideas anymore. Oh, no. Stan! No, don't go out like that. Yeah, I know you're like 6 issues away from ending, but don't go out like that. Not even sure if you've got good ideas, because you have a banger of an idea if you committed to it, but you haven't given it the time and space to breathe. This could be really good. Watching this hand snuff out planets is one of the most interesting things they've done in a while. It's way cooler than Galactus,
Mhm.
and it's basically doing the same thing Galactus does.
Mhm.
Which, do you know how impressive it is to do a thing another character does, but do it cooler? Especially after you obsessed over that character
God.
kind of a lot, so we've
This
kind of got
whole-
him
this
on the
whole
brain.
fucking Galactus thing has just been a giant nothing burger.
Exactly!
This whole time.
And then he comes up with something that could be cooler than Galactus, and yet does most of the same things Galactus does.
Whatever, 2.5 stars. I'm not gonna give it a 2 full because it's fine.
And it's not so fine, I'm giving it a 2. I like the extra... We didn't need the Odin Sword. We definitely didn't need Hela.
I would be fine with the Odin sword, honestly, but we definitely didn't need the cameo from Hela.
So-
That was unnecessary.
My complaint about the Odin
The
Sword...
Silent One, what a fucking fart to go out on that
But
with.
the thing about
Yeah.
the Odin Sword is, if that's the play, what's the point of the rest of it? Just do that.
When I was reading this, I was like expecting the Silent One was gonna be like, I don't know, a minion from someone who wanted them to defeat Infinity, or like he himself was maybe like one of the like cosmic immortals or something.
Something like a Watcher, but different.
Right, and he was like trying to lead them into saving the universe, and I thought that would be cool, but then he's just
A minion of Hela.
a minion of Hela randomly, and then he dies.
I thought he was a minion of Infinity, sent kind of ahead as
Mhm.
like a forebearer of the oncoming apocalypse.
like a herald.
Yes.
Yeah, see, this is why I'm like, this. You have something that is Galactus, but cooler. This is cooler than Galactus. And you're not even focusing on that because, no, we've got, turns out this thing's Herald isn't this thing's Herald. It's a minion of Hela. And, oh yeah, the mind control, that's because they gotta pull the sword, the Odin sword out in the world, even though Infinity can end the world on its own.
Okay, you say this, but the only reason the warriors they were in Asgard to pull out the sword was because Thor showed up and threw them to Asgard.
True, but then they got new orders to pull the Odin sword.
Well, it's more of like a they're there, so they might as well, right?
I don't know. Maybe that also kills Infinity.
We don't know because there's still more to go.
I'm going to assume they never pulled the Odin sword, so
Probably not.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm not
otherwise-
expecting this to turn around.
yeah. And I'm not doing too well on bingo either.
Neither of you did wear it very well on Bingo.
No, these were weird
They were.
issues, but yeah.
And you know what pisses me off? I have haha Volstagg fat. Haha Volstagg is a coward in a row, and they're both that Volstagg
couldn't
was
do either.
mind controlled.
Then you can probably call yourself Stangry.
Myself, do I get to do that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Someone got Stangry, and
I'm-
it seemed like a reasonable, legitimate Stanger.
This
I like that word, Stanger.
I'm just, God, like, this had a lot of potential. This storyline had so much potential. It was a cooler Galactus. Which is hard. It's not that hard. But
It's not that hard.
it's not, but even, like, cooler than modern Galactus, honestly. Because Galactus is just a big dude
Yeah.
who sucks up planets, and it's weird.
Well, we're going to have to wrap that up in the next episode. And as Ripley mentioned, I completely forgot to say last time, but we did have 3 episodes left, which means that we now have 2.
2 Stan episodes.
2 episodes of Stan.
Which
One
means-
wrap up and a couple and like 3 issues
That
that, are
means
just wet fucking farts.
we only have 1 month left of Stan.
Wow.
1 month of Stan.
Stan can't tell two large stories in that time. Oh
I-
God!
I
No,
don't think
he's
so,
gonna
no.
do one big one, and then he's gonna do 3 that are just like the stinkiest
I mean-
sulfur farts.
He might finish this in the next issue, and then tell a story that lasts 5.
He won't.
Galactus took.
I stand by my prediction.
You're probably right. I'm going to give you. That's probably the case, but it would have been nicer if he did do that.
Well, he's not gonna. Anyway.
Stan.
But that's all we got. So let's go ahead and wrap up.
Yep. If you want to see how cool that hand is, hit us up over on our YouTube. We do a video version of the show where you can kind of see the things we're talking about as we're talking about them, all the different clips. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. Leave a comment. It all helps.
Hit that motherfucking bell.
If you want to support us other than that, we also have a Patreon where we put out a bonus-ode every month where we cover some weird little artifact from the Marvel catalog.
Oh yeah, I write these up.
Yep, that's John's turn.
I go in blinder than most, and I see things you people wouldn't believe, and I show you them, and you still don't believe them. Because no one should believe the things they've seen from the depths of the Marvel catalog.
Anyway, if you want to support us otherwise, we also have a coffee if you just want to throw us $3. If you want to send us an email about your thoughts about this episode, just hit us up at
Send us an
Comicsplaining.
email about cat erogenous zones.
Oh God, yeah,
Oh,
do
no.
that. Great, do that.
Yes,
We already know the answer to that too.
we don't need to know about what makes cats horny.
Anyway, send us all your horny cat facts on our Twitter or
No,
Facebook.
we're gonna get furry porn. We don't want furry porn.
Well, you're welcoming furry porn.
I don't want it.
I'm not. I never said send me your furry porn. I said send us cat facts.
Sure, that's what's gonna happen. Cat facts.
Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice. We'd really appreciate that. Join us over on Discord if you want a bingo card of your own for each episode. On request, I get 30 of these little bitches every time I make one, and I make one pretty much every time because I'm constantly coming up with new things to put on them.
This one was such a weird set of issues that these cards were not sufficient.
Last time someone did get a bingo, though.
And you still haven't given me a prize.
I hate you. I hate you.
That's my prize. John hates me now.
Anyway, we're going to be back at you next week with the X-Men, and we look forward to talking to you then. Bye!
Bye.